What's going on, YouTube? So we live in a world of RAV4s and CRVs. However, there are some other options out there, such as this, the Mitsubishi Outlander, which might just have more up its sleeve than you'd expect. So is this the best kept secret in the compact crossover segment? Let's go ahead and find out. Alright, so first things first, let's go ahead and talk about what is under the hood. So for 2024, we continue on with the same powertrain. It's going to be a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, making 181 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque. There also continues to be the plug-in hybrid that is available for you guys. We cover that in a separate review if you're interested in that.
As far as the transmission, you have a CVT, and your fuel economy is going to be coming in at 26 miles a gallon combined if you choose the optional all-wheel drive.
Now, of course, like all of our reviews, we're going to take this out for a drive later on. We're going to get things like our signature sound level reading so that we can compare to all the competition, such as popular offerings like the RAV4 and the related Nissan Rogue. But first, let's close up the hood and take a look at the exterior design. Now, I just mentioned that this is related to the Nissan Rogue, but you certainly wouldn't know that with any of the exterior design because it is very, very different from the Rogue and also a lot more bold than most of the competition, especially when we're talking about this front design. So as you can see, we have a very large grille up front. This is going to kind of come down all the way to this lower section and have this large piece of chrome that accents the side of it. Outlander is going to go across the front there, and then you've got the large Mitsubishi emblem right there in the center. As far as our headlights are concerned, these are also unique because we have the separated housing up top. This is going to be just your daytime running light and turn signal indicator. The main headlight units themselves are going to be down here in the middle. These are reflector LEDs. They'll be standard on every single trim level, and all but the base model will also get the LED fog lamps. Now, compared to the front design, which is very bold, the rear design is going to be a lot more kind of clean and classy looking in its overall appearance.
Yeah, I really like the way this Outlander looks. And here at Car Confections, we do like to test out the tail light elements and see if all three elements are LED. So we're just going to go ahead and hop inside and show us. So we do have an LED brake light portion, incandescent reverse light, and incandescent turn signal indicator. So 1 out of 3 elements are LED. That's pretty much the standard affair for this segment, and that's going to be on all of the trim levels. And as we drop down to this lower area, you will notice that most of it is going to be body color, which I certainly appreciate. We're also going to have faux exhaust outlets here on the sides, but no real exhaust outlets. And as far as the tow rating, 2,000 pounds for this Outlander.
Let's also talk about the wheels because this is a strong area for the Outlander. The reason being, only the base model has 18-inch alloys. Everything else comes with 20-inch alloy wheels. That's pretty rare for this segment. And these look really good, guys. I definitely like this contrast finish we have on this SEL. Now, as we move up to the mirrors, we also have some unexpected features. The unexpected feature is that power folding comes on almost every single trim level. Every trim level will come with heating and blind spot monitoring.
Now that we're here at the side of the Outlander, I do want to just go ahead and mention the overall length first. It's 185.4 inches long, which is a couple inches larger than the Nissan Rogue that this shares a platform with. Now, there are some 2024 changes when it comes to the side design that I want to mention. That's that we have a new Platinum Edition model. That's going to be a black exterior, and you're actually going to have a silver roof, which is new this year, which I think has a really cool look. Now, you can also get a black roof just like you would have been able to get last year, which I also think is a unique feature for this segment of vehicle. Now, as far as your safety systems are concerned, for those of you who are not so great drivers, you are going to have 2 out of your 4 active safety features as standard equipment. And then if you choose all but the very base trim level, you're going to have actually all 4 of them as standard equipment, including adaptive cruise control. But guys, there are some changes on the inside that we want to talk about. But before, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Now, both these vehicles are designed to bring the whole family along for the ride.
But you know what else happens when you bring the whole family along? Smells. That's why, before we go any further in this comparison, we want to share with you a cool new product in the fragrance category. You all know we review hundreds of cars per year, and when that new car smell finally runs out, who wants a stinky, stale-smelling car? Not us, and that's where Drift comes in to help, since they have created air care products for your car.
Their car products are made from sustainable materials with scents made from natural, essential, and fragrance oils. The scent we have today is teak, and you'll catch hints of fresh tobacco leaf, teakwood, and musk. It smells fresh, relaxing, and most importantly, covers up all the other odors.
And to boot, their car products range from $9 to $15, so they are super affordable. And I may add, stylish. We love the classy way this wood freshener looks attached to the visor. We like car accessories that add class, not take away from the car's interior.
And what's cool about these air fresheners is that you can get them as a subscription. They also have a cool scent of the month, which features a new limited edition scent. They're inspired by the season and the memories and emotions attached to it. Their subscription is also very flexible. You can change your scent choice, your delivery frequency, or cancel your subscription at any time you like.
To sweeten the deal, Drift is giving Car Confections viewers 55% off your first month. All you have to do is use our coupon code CAR55 to get 55% off your first month at drift.co. That's less than $6 for your first month, so make sure to check out our link in the description to learn more. Now let's go ahead and check out the interior, but first we'll look at the key fob. This is your typical Mitsubishi key fob. As you can see, we do have the smart entry system on board. No remote start on the fob. You actually have access to that via the Mitsubishi phone app, and it's going to be free to you for 24 months. Now, getting inside the vehicle, there's not a sensor behind the handle, so just press that black button. That'll unlock the door and go ahead and fold the mirrors out. Now, take a look inside of the cabin. At first glance, you will think, does this vehicle actually belong in the compact segment? Because it has a very luxurious look to it. And that starts with the seats. So in terms of your different material and color options, you are going to have a cloth seat on the base model. All the rest of them will come with leather or leatherette. And then this top-end model, the SEL with the touring package, upgrades you to semi-aniline leather. That's one of the nicest types of leather you can get in a vehicle. It is very smooth and supple, and I love the diamond stitching on board. It looks quite nice. Obviously, this is black, and it looks like we have some gray stitching on board. Now, as far as the seats themselves, they're going to be 8-way power adjusting on all but the base model, and you do also have memory seating built into the door. But let's go ahead and climb inside. Now, like I was saying, the Outlander does have an unexpectedly nice interior, and that continues to the other materials as well. So over here on our door trim, we've got a lot of the leatherette material running all through the surfaces, including this nice diamond quilted area in the center. As we move to the upper dash, all of this will be a nice soft touch plastic. We have more of the leather material running through the center section with the double color contrast stitching going through the lower areas, and we also have padding along the center console for our knees to rest against. You've got a faux aluminum trim, and then some piano black finishing things off right there in the center. But to fire it up, just press the push button start, which I missed. Now after startup, we can move into our gauge cluster first of all. This, as you can tell, is a 12.3-inch full digital gauge cluster. This is going to be on your upper end trim levels of this Outlander lineup, and it has all the functions that you've probably seen on some of the Nissan models because it is borrowed from there. So you can do things like change your full meter view. In addition to that, though, this top end model, the SEL with touring package, gives you a large 10.8-inch head-up display. Now, as we pull back to the steering wheel, we do have a nicely finished steering wheel. We have perforated leather here on the sides. It is going to be manual tilt and telescoping across the lineup. And then again, on the top end SEL Touring model, that's going to give you the heated steering wheel. So you can leave the cold hands to Frosty and take the top end trim level for that. Now, let's turn over here and take a look at our center console. One of the things we like to do at Car Confections is do something called the donut test. That's because that is our emblem, and we want to see how many of these donuts can fit into the center console. The reason this is useful because just because the vehicle is big on the outside doesn't mean it's big on the center console. This actually only fits 5. That's a very low number for this segment. One of the smallest options I've seen in this class, which typically has the really large center consoles. Nevertheless, we do have our large cup holders up there. There's going to be a little bit of storage on both sides of the center console, and then you've got a wireless phone charging pad up there in the front, which will be included on all but the base model. Now as we pull back to the shifter, this is an electronic shifter. Just going to pull back for drive. You can go back again if you want to activate a manual mode, and that will allow you to shift through some simulated gear changes with your paddle shifters. When we head into reverse, this is another thing I really like about the Outlander because they're very generous with the 360-degree camera system. So if you're the type of person that typically hits curbs, this will be very useful for you guys because it's going to be included on all but the base trim level. Very nice. And then just press the P for park. You do have an electronic parking brake and a brake hold. Now next to your electronic parking brake, you have a very prominent controller for all your different drive modes. And then as we move up the dashboard, we'll come to our climate controls. This does come standard with dual zone automatic climate control, but we actually have a rare feature if you choose the SEL and above for this class, and that is a 3-zone automatic setup. Mason will talk a little bit more about that in the rear seat, but as far as making your adjustments, it's very easy because you do have physical buttons for everything. We also are going to have 3-stage heated seats. Just be aware that you cannot get seat ventilation. Now as we move up here to the screen area, I want to first talk about the audio system. Since we have an upper end model, we have the 10-speaker Bose premium sound system, and I want to go ahead and give that a sample right now. Yeah, so overall, that was a very nice sounding sound system. One of the things I like about this Bose system is that it has a lot of bass, so it really fills up the cabin nicely. All right, so let's zero in here on this display. There's going to be 2 displays offered. You're going to have an 8-inch or a 9-inch option. Most of the trims will come with the 9-inch premium choice, and that's what you're looking at right now. This is going to be running the same infotainment system as many recent Nissan products. So you have the home screens where you have little widgets, and then you've got your shortcuts down there along the bottom. The feature set will be the same. So on this upper screen option, you're going to have a wireless Apple CarPlay option and a wired Android Auto option. Moving above, we do have an auto dimming mirror. HomeLink remotes are inside of the display. And I'll go ahead and slide open our large panoramic sunroof. Mitsubishi does offer this as an option on many of the trim levels, including this top-end SEL, where it is part of the touring package.
Now all the nice features don't stop in the front of the Outlander. They also translate back here. So you're going to find actually quite a bit nicer of a rear seat than you would in many of the rivals, especially considering the price point. But let's go ahead and talk about the space first. So we're sitting at about 40 inches of legroom, 39 inches of headroom, which does place it above RAV4. It's also going to be above the Nissan Rogue. It's still slightly less than the Honda CR-V, but really a good amount of space for this segment. All of our measuring devices are back in check, so I do have my ruler so I can measure how much knee space there is. I'm 5'9" for reference, and we're sitting at about 8 inches of knee space. Also, my feet can easily slide up underneath the seat. Speaking of sliding, we can adjust these second row seats quite a lot. So this is actually very useful. I want to point this out. This seat can slide all the way up to here. So if you have a kid that you need to reach back and smack and discipline, or just maybe a toddler or something that you need to have quick access to, you can do that. Also, the seats do have reclining functionality as well. Now, here in the center, we do have rear vents. That's actually going to be a standard feature. Like Drew mentioned in the front, since we have a higher-end model, we're going to have 3-zone climate control. Very rare feature for this segment of vehicles, so the rear can adjust their own temperature. You're also noticing that I'm enjoying the sizzling function for my buns with the heated rear seats. That's actually going to be standard on SEL trim levels and above. Now, as far as the center seat, we can just pull that little lever. We have a nice fold-down armrest with 2 cup holders inside. And checking out the door trim, the door trim is also going to have rear window sunshades, which is also going to be included on the higher-end trim levels. Certainly a nice feature. Leather through the whole center area as well with the quilting design, and we do have some bottle storage in the very bottom. Now, we're not done yet with really nice features because we have a third row on this Outlander. Very, very rare feature for this segment of vehicle. I believe there's only 2 options in the entire segment that even give you a third row, and it's actually going to be standard on all Outlander models, so you don't have to go for the high-end trim levels if you want the third row. So let's go ahead and see how nice it is. So in order to get back here, you do have to pull that little lever there. That's going to fold the seat forward and allow it to easily slide out of the way. Then I'll allow Drew to just go ahead and take a quick look at it before I go into the third row itself. It's not going to be a massive amount of space, but I am going to just go ahead and put myself in that situation and see if I can fit back here in the third row. Now, this is for demonstration purposes only. There's only about 18 inches of leg room in this third row. You have a decent amount of headroom, so certainly it's fine for small children. Now, if you think you're going to be fitting full-size adults back here, you're probably not going to be able to fit back here unless you slide this seat forward quite a lot. I do want to point out that it is only 2 seats back here, but that does really increase your maximum seating capacity in this Outlander to 7, which is very rare for this segment. We do also have a headrest not installed, so don't worry, you're not going to get full whiplash here in the third row. We just don't have them installed on this model. Oh, and I did almost forget to mention our third row rating scale. This is going to fall on bad kids only on that scale. I wouldn't put the in-laws back here, that's for sure, and we do also have nice cup holders here on the side. Now let's go ahead and walk up to the tailgate. Mitsubishi is also throwing in a really nice feature here because we have a hands-free power tailgate standard on all but the very base model. Now, as far as the cargo space is concerned, you might be curious as to how the third row is going to impact that. Now, behind the third row itself, we're still going to have about 12 cubic feet of cargo capacity. If I reach up and quickly fold it down, that will reveal about 33 cubic feet of cargo capacity behind the second row seats. And if I fold these second row seats down, which I can easily do with the levers right here, we're looking at a maximum of 80 cubic feet of cargo capacity, guys. That is very, very, very impressive for this segment of vehicle. It's going to be more than Rogue, more than RAV4, and even more than Honda CR-V. This is really pretty much the class leader when it comes to cargo capacity in this segment. Certainly a good thing for those of you who are looking to haul stuff around. Now, we did finally replace our ruler with a very heavy-duty one so I can measure some different seating configurations. From the back of the driver's seat here, we are looking at 76 inches of length in the cargo area. And then if I measure the width here, we're going to be sitting at 41 inches wide. So very good usable cargo area in this Outlander. We also do have a little bit of underfloor storage here. That's actually where our headrests are stowed for the third row. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander. In this test drive, we're going to be talking about quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now, including getting our aforementioned sound level reading. So let's go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
And that's 60 miles per hour in the 2024 Outlander. So one of the things that is, I think most noteworthy about this Outlander is the fact that we discussed there's a lot of, Nissan componentry. It is a Nissan platform, and some of the parts inside of here are shared with Nissan, but the powertrain is actually not shared with the Nissan Rogue. If you remember, the Rogue launched with this powertrain, which is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, naturally aspirated, and it has 181 horsepower, 181 pound-feet of torque. It launched with that same powertrain, but it has since upgraded or changed, depending on your point of view, to a turbocharged variable compression 3-cylinder engine. So if you're one of those people that say are maybe a little cautious about turbocharged engines or worried about having a 3-cylinder, this does keep that kind of classic Rogue powertrain where you're using a 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated, like I said.
Yeah, and I think power feels fine. It's definitely not going to knock your socks off. Compared to the Nissan Rogue, it's definitely going to have a little bit less torque than that model and feel a little bit slower, but it's nothing really abnormal for this segment, I wouldn't say.
Right, this is about average for this class of vehicle, but like Mason said, that's really the biggest thing you would notice between the turbocharged Rogue and this is the low-end torque. Now, as far as the transmission is concerned, we have a continuously variable transmission, or CVT, and this does have a shift simulation on board. So as you could tell, as I was accelerating up to speed there, it does kind of move through some fake gears just to give you a little bit more of a conventional feel. But as far as the overall performance of this, I think they've done a good job of tuning this. If I put my foot down, we get a response pretty quickly. We don't have to wait a long time, and I don't feel much rubber bandy effect. This is, of course, also a Nissan transmission, and they have, done a lot of work on this.
Yeah, and as far as how the power is routed to the ground, you have standard front-wheel drive on all models, optional all-wheel drive, and as far as fuel economy is concerned, I do want to just go ahead and talk about this because this is one area where this Outlander really goes kind of behind the competition. The fuel economy is going to be sitting at 27 miles a gallon combined with front-wheel drive, or 26 miles a gallon combined with all-wheel drive. That's a full 5 mpg worse than the Nissan Rogue, and it is still several mpg worse than a lot of the main rivals like Toyota RAV4 and Honda CR-V, and that's their regular gas powertrain setups, not factoring in that they also have hybrid setups. Now, granted, you do have the plug-in hybrid variant if you really want the maximum efficiency. However, that does carry quite a bit of a higher price tag, so that's something worth considering. And now that we're just kind of cruising along here, I do want to talk about this vehicle's ride quality. So the Outlander has always had really good ride quality. That's going to continue for the 2024 model year. When you hit a bump, it does a good job of soaking it up. I think it's very much class competitive when it comes to ride quality. As far as the seats as well, I will say that these are very comfortable seats, at least here with the fully loaded model with semi-aniline leather. I'm very, very happy with this seat. It really feels nice to sit in. And we've mentioned it quite a few times at this point. It's time for us to get our sound level reading going 55 miles per hour. Now, we do have it on fan speed 1 here, so go ahead and get it. We've settled in at 57.5 decibels as our official Car Confections sound level reading. And one of the really great things that we've done for you guys who are really curious about how quiet the cabins are is we've actually compiled a list of all of this vehicle's competitors, and we've put that on our website, carconfections.com. So we can go ahead and go to carconfections.com and see how this compares.
And I do want to point out that it is very windy today. Obviously, we can't control the weather, but it is pretty windy, so I do think that's going to add a little bit to the sound level reading. Mason can tell us what relative to last year's rating was.
So as far as the reading, 57.5 is actually going to put it in the upper end of the segment when it comes to the sound level reading, so actually the louder end. But one thing that I do want to point out is that we did test out the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid over the summer when it was a little bit less windy, and that was 53.2, which is actually the quietest in the segment. So I do think the wind is playing quite a bit of a role there in that, but one would expect that this regular gas model would be a little bit louder than the plug-in hybrid version. And let's also go ahead and talk about our airball and slam dunk, our favorite element and our least favorite element. Drew, kick us off with the slam dunk.
Yeah, so the slam dunk today is going to be the overall value proposition of this model. You've heard me talk about it a lot throughout this review, but since we like to break down the trim levels on this channel, it's a good time to show you guys that you get a lot of the features as included on even the lower end trim levels. Yes, this one here is fully loaded, but you get a lot of these goodies even on just the SE trim level, which is the second from the base model.
Yeah, and as far as our airball is concerned, we will just have to say it's the engine that's on board here. Now, for those of you who want the more traditional setup, this is actually going to be a pro for you, but we have driven the Nissan Rogue pretty extensively. It gets better fuel economy. It also has more torque, so it feels a little bit more peppy around town. So the 3-cylinder would have maybe been a nice upgrade to see here on this Outlander. Now, I do want to talk about a 2024 change. It actually comes with your warranty. So this year, we're actually going to get new standard complimentary maintenance. It's going to be 2 years or 30,000 miles. So that's a nice new feature that Mitsubishi is including this year. Really helps you save on those expenses at the beginning of your ownership. So very happy to see that on this model. You're going to continue to find 5-year 60,000 mile basic warranty and 10-year 100,000 mile powertrain warranty as well. So that really brings this vehicle in line with Hyundai when it comes to really the best warranty in the entire business. Now, prices are up for 2024 at less than $1,000 on all trim levels, so you're still going to have a very affordable price point for this Outlander model. We're going to start at about $28,395 for the base ES trim level. As we move up the trim structure, excuse me, you will, of course, increase in price. You're going to pretty much land up with what we have on today's example. So we start out at $36,745 for an SEL with all-wheel drive. Once we add in those option packages like the SEL Touring model, we're going to be landing up at $41,740 as tested today. Now, if you are looking to buy a Mitsubishi Outlander or any new vehicle, the next place you should go if you're a smart shopper is carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, on there, we have a tool that will connect you with local dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. Additionally, it's going to give you invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealer negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description. Well, guys, that's where we're going to leave off on this in-depth review of the 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we would really appreciate hitting that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to join in on this Car Confections family, and we do a ton of car reviews as well as have a lot of fun on this channel. I'm sure you won't want to miss out. So please do yourself a favor and go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you're already a part of our family and are watching this video, we really appreciate your continued support because you do make this all possible. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.